Okay, so we had started another session, guys, and I hope that you guys are ready. Little late, but back on track here for this session. And this NY session, we had a London session trade, just drop to that support and bounce back up. But I think that's gonna give us now again another entry opportunity as the market is pushing high here. And I'm out with this trade. It dropped down to the profit zone, waiting for the full move, but you saw it just bounce back to the upside. Now the market, it's a part of trading. Now you'll be taking the full one here, and I want to keep at least in profitable today, along with the break even, with another trade coming just shortly after, and I might be quickly entering the trade. So keep eye, traders, here. And I'm just before coming on the live, I was looking at the analysis. It's a pretty hot market now at the moment in terms of trading. If you look at the market, is really volatile, and I really want to look at the quality trade setup. Okay, so and also that if you look at the current so there are some here. There is a calendar news today. If you look at that coming later during, so in my zone 12 a.m., which is we'll be covering here in this live session. Just a matter of half an hour. ISM service PMI and JOS job opening, right? Two very important news that we can see coming later today. And with these two high impact news coming, if you look at that on gold, is just significant move on gold. That what is happening with, if you look at the oil that we have seen of this resistance line, the market after this creating this long wick doji, the market now pushing down here. The previous day was the reason I'm looking at oil. We can get also the gold direction from the oil price. If you look at the weekly, there was gap open. The market has made an initial move. Now it's pushing back down here. Now this drop that you can see oil, can it be a pullback or it's a reversal? We will be also going in depth on that to understand it. But as we will be entering, we see that USD JPY is pushing higher. So I'm still, if you look at that market structure on gold, it's for me on the lower time frame pretty overbought, and I think that the market is going to an overbought situation. If you look at the daily, that you can see the market from the daily perspective, there was a daily drop, and you have seen the market has dropped back below on the daily, and with this drop the price may eventually come back below. Now to be able to look for that down move, so if you look at this market here in this area, that from this support, the price action has shown that there is a significant bounce back to the upside here. Now this move, if you look at closely, we can see that of this support, the price action is from the daily, it's bouncing off. The previous daily move was a large bear candle that you can see with a big body with a smaller wick at the bottom, and the market is now trying to here push back to the upside, and that's very important to look at. If you see that the market is heading back to the upside here in that area, and with this movement also I'm looking at the weekly price action. Now weekly price action looking at is important. So before you go to the further analysis, I would like to see all members are here. We see that some members confirmed that they're here. Hello, Sayed. Hello again. Thank you. Good evening. Chris Goldin, good evening. So did you heard about FXC order block? Please have a look, sir. FXC order block or order book. So what's that? FXC order? You mean the order block? Good evening. Order book. Okay. Order book. Let's have a look. Okay. So yeah, we'll be looking at now. At the moment, we are just we are looking at what's that? Thank you very much. The system that we have is, if you look at, for those who are in the group, we have two systems that we are trading, and that is the ultimate profit generator that you guys can see. That we have our scalping group. For those who are in the scalping, we have the highest win rate in this whole zone. And I'm not saying that you guys see that every single day. There's a feedback in the group, and that is what, you know, I keep the group open for the feedback from the members. They're sharing their trade ideas, trade setup. So, you know, there is a saying that, especially you see that if you look at outside, one of the biggest challenge for doing anything, being anything, taking anything, is to find out actually what really works. Because there is a lot of confusion. Now, once you see something is working, something really original, giving you the actual results, then hold on to that and keep repeating it. That's the strategy, especially in trading, right? Now you can see that 3 profit secured, 2 profit, so 3 profit. There are some of the members feedback that I was just going through. So this is what we need, right? The verified group, verified members, and the feedback, and repeat it. So now this is NY session, right? So we are looking at the first thing, the continuation of our London session analysis. So this is the weekly chart that I'm holding on, and we will be dropping to the lower time frame. If you look at this weekly market structure, what do you see? That from this top to this low, pullback, and you could see the market to here. If you look at that, to break again below. Don't you think so? This market is in a downtrend. How many of you agree that today gold will drop? I would like to start with a pull, and then we'll go forward from here. So I've shared a poll with a yes and no, and share your thought and opinion. Are you bearish or bullish on gold? And I'm already holding my sell, waiting for another drop. I think we can come below. You start slow. already. So very good. Now I would say that yes, I'm still bearish on gold, and we see that there is a bounce. What might happen now? We'll be looking at both technical as well as the fundamental. Now here I'm looking at the 4 hour, right? So what I think the market might do is, if you see that this move now on gold going to a very important zone here. Okay, so this is the previous resistance that you can see. Okay, and that level, this candle, I would say that, you know, I was expecting the previous one to drop, and that's why I didn't close the trade in profit. But we can see the market has bounced back to the upside. Now this market on gold is still a high possibility to drop back below. Let me tell you 2 reasons. Guys, reason is very important. Market will, so see that some members market will sell when the past 4, 5, 8, 4 level. Okay, so you know, reason is very important. So anything that we are considering, especially if you are trading, then reason is very important. Okay, now reason will give you reason, right? So what is reason? Let's look at from very fundamental perspective. That's what I tell you guys. Trading is mental exercise also. Okay, it's a great way. Mind is, in most people, mind is like a, you see, there is a saying that mind makes a good servant but the poor master. So if you become very good at, you know, using your mind as an instrument, it can do a lot. So that's why, you know, creating a very, very fluid thinking pattern that can give you an absolutely, you know, what is the biggest reason that people cannot think fluidly is because of the discomfort. Because whenever we think something outside of our domain, pattern, or understanding or belief, it creates a kind of form of discomfort, which is very normal, and that is the biggest reason. So you come back to how you were thinking. And this actually, unfortunately, this happens very early. Okay, very early, especially in childhood, happens to us. Because when a child, if you look at that, a child brain, okay, so if you look at a human being's brain, has 3 kinds of brainwave. Okay, one is alpha. Every brain has this, go through this beta, theta, and also gamma, right? Gamma wave is rare. But when you see them, when you are thinking, we are at beta. When you are at deep sleep, we are at delta. We are dreaming, we are at theta. When we are at deep sleep, we are at delta. In between sleep and wake is the alpha, which is the creative brainwave, right? So the kids up to, I think, 6 years, they are in this alpha. So first they remain delta for 2 years, and then go to the theta, and then go to the alpha. So this is where all these things happen, because that time anything that you say, do, or act, it's gonna directly accept as the worldview, as the true worldview, right? Whatever you say, regardless of where they are, and then it becomes a whirlpool, right? So which basically just keep repeating in the same way. Outside of anything looks like not right. That's where the truth, and you know, like sometimes there's some kind of argument happens because of that. So now, but if you can overcome that, create that mental or brain power that can think like this alpha, then you can go and rechange anything at any time. So one of the hardest things is not learning, is but unlearning. Unlearning is the hardest. Learning is very easy, and most people are very good at learning but very poor at unlearning. So that is where the reason, right? So reason is highest form, very, very high level. Yeah. Because most people do things without reason. And I guess you guys doing the things with reason, for example, while you are trading, that sort of reason. So when you have a reason, you get a very clear directional bias in the market as well. So if you look at that here on, it's impossible to unlearn something. Okay, that's a very good point. It's impossible to unlearn something. You can. So you see something, two things you can unlearn. Let me tell you how. So you see, inside our mind we think, right? We think you want to go to the shop, you think, okay, I need to take the key, and then I have to start the car, sit down in the car. This is what you're thinking, right? Now, what happened? Those things associate with specific kind of emotion and image. So unlearning means that you actually see all those learning, all those thinking, but you only choose what is relevant to you. Unlearning means that, yes, it is possible to unlearn. Let me tell you how. So let's say you see that sometimes we go to somewhere with a specific route, right? Let's say this is your shopping center, this is your house. And now you go every day in the same route, every day in the same route. So this is a learning, right? This is how the mind say, okay, it's easy for me, it's familiar. Unlearning means that you just say yourself, okay, I'm gonna go this way today. And without hesitation, you take that route. That is unlearning. So you just, you know that there is a true route, but you don't take it, you take another one. So that is unlearning. That means this is learning, that I only remain in the learning familiarity. So remaining in the familiarity is learning, and taking an unfamiliar route and trying to create a new one is unlearning, because you just didn't take that learning familiar route. You took the other one. So you unlearn that route and learn a new one. So that is called unlearning. You still have that. So what is happening? You are multiplying your ability multiple times by learning, taking a different route. And then what happened, that you pay attention more and more, because if you take the same route, you're just wandering somewhere else. But when you take a different route, you have to pay attention to that. Otherwise, you're gonna, might get lost. So that is, if you look at that on here in this trading here. So let me tell you two reasons. So this is where it came from, this point. Now, two reasons that what we could see the gold is coming here is that this is, you see, when the market was dropping, there was a strong liquidity gap here, right? And the market drop. Now you see the market is going back to the upside to the same level, same area of value, to that resistance line. However, what happened? You see, in this going back to the upside, there is no liquidity gap. No sessions candle has broken the previous session's low. This is one thing. The other thing is that, two very key criteria. The other thing is, if you look at this, long-term trend is down. So therefore, this current level that we can see here at 4584 or 83 level is where you can see that the market is at that liquidity zone. Therefore, we might see break of this high or no, but I will be looking forward to see another entry shortly. There's a 1 hour. I think this might close as a doji, and if this one is closed as a green doji, not unusual to see that another one is going up, and that can create a selling pressure. So our goal here is to look to see how now the current 1 hour candle is closing. As I mentioned, it can still be a bearish move, but I think what we can see here in this area, market has reached that top, and with this current channel that you can see here, with this channel here that you can see, this is a bear flag. From this zone has the market dropped to this level, and then the market has reached to that bear flag. Off that bear flag, the price action to eventually come to that level here, to this support area. So we can see there is a narrow here, a doji pattern formation, and off that doji, that looking forward to see the market to go up again, retest that level, and then to rebound again back. Do you have any question? You can ask if you have any different opinion. I wanted to ask if the resistance level at 4566 is not valid. 4566. At 4566, this resistance not a good one. Okay, we can see that after this bullish engulfer, it has formed this doji, so therefore that the market may break back to the upside here. So it's still bullish. Then what we are not opening long. The reason we are not opening long, that I always trade in the major direction of the trend. So anytime, at any point, you could see that reversal. Do you think NY open we will drop tonight? Okay, so let's see that what is happening with the current fundamental and sentiment, because we have looked at the technical, but we didn't look at the fundamental and the technical. We saw that RBA cash rate has been set 4.35. So which was basically, that was the, how much are we expecting the gold drop here? Will it will break resistance or fundamentally tonight? Depends on where. Yeah, you will be looking at. So now looking at here, so we saw that there was a cash rate has rises on AUD, so which usually, which is bearish for gold as well. Let me tell you why. If you look at that interest rate bullish, like if you look at the, because it's gonna increase the strength of that currency, AUD USD. Okay, so interest rate cut on dollar usually become bullish for gold. interest rate rise on dollar, bearish for gold. But for AUD could be the other way around. We'll be looking at for AUD. It's not an it can be, because how does that impacted in the real scenario, how that will influence the market also. You'll see that more often may not be exactly as you expected. To see that there was since the cash rate rises, there was a break below, and now the market is pushing higher, so which is actually strengthening AUD. And I think this is one of the reasons why gold is showing some strengthening here. But that strengthening, as we trade on lower time frame, we are looking at the lower time frame. And it is important that you also keep a full track of the current sentiment. And I do is the sentiment analysis. Few breaking news here. This up to here we looked at during our London Session Live. USD/JPY saw a chunky spike to 157.85 before fading back near 157.40. No clear driver flagged market challenge includes intervention. So USD/JPY, if you looked at also in the previous few analysis, I've discussed that USD/JPY might be remaining here upside, and we can see the series of higher low and the market slowly breaking back to the upside here on USD/JPY. And DXY little in a sideway. I think it's DXY basically waiting for the data, interest today's data. If you look at that coming up, ISM service PMI, JOLTS job opening, these two important information. And we have another, I think this is a one news, Pentagon chief says Operation Project Freedom is not part of Epic Fury and is only temporary. Okay, so yeah, so there was this is a temporary, I think Operation Project Freedom is a temporary way to, I think, they clear the ships on the Strait of Hormuz that has locked or locked down for a long time. Ship. So at this point, if you look at here in this area, and I'll keep that fully. So with the RBA and also, so what's happened this one here? Market on edge as fresh US-Iran attacks dent optimism over a peace deal. So there is a mixed news in terms of the current geopolitical and war situation. But one thing I think at the moment, if you look at especially the rise on gold price here, could be a result of the cash rate that is potentially strengthening the gold here at this time. But as a short-term trader, we are looking at for rejection of this key level, because it is still in this zone here bullish. I'll not be hesitant to look for long if needed, but if we see that this is an entirely a change of trend. Only in that situation we will be looking for long. Alrighty, so here if you look at here, you can see the market is from that level trying to push back here, back to the upside. And 30 minutes candle closing, and also the 1 hour, which is 1 hour doji. Don't you think that the market will be bouncing back off this level? Tonight depends on where you are looking. Okay. So the price is approaching that key zone. If you look at, and that key level is important to look at here. And off that doji, the market might be here trying to push up. So this is the current zone that we might see some move, because it left an imbalance here. Planning for a move. The 1 hour candle close, this doji is, if you look at after this bullish engulfer, a doji can signal further uprise. Don't you think so? If that happens, we might see the market to go back to 4583. Don't you think so? Let's get ready for a trade. But in that area, because you want to trade only if we see that the market has shown that a stronger bullish price action confirmation in that area. Already. So here the market is creating that upside bias. Yeah, after this doji, it's trying to push up. This looks very interesting here. And that might take this market possibly back to 4583. Yeah, at the moment here in this zone that we can see, we are trading on lower time frame. I'm still looking at the market might go up to that level, and after that, if we see rejection, we will be selling or we'll be waiting for the market to shift. Four, 5, 6, 5. We'll see that here in that zone. So you can see that it's slowly breaking that high here, and we could see the price action to break that and potentially to continue to rise here. And at this point in this area so far showing that, so do you want to see that complete reversal before we look at the sell? Can have further upside here. Four, 5, 8, 6 level is your sell zone, sir. Now, I wouldn't sell just blindly. We want to see that how the market is reacting to that level. If you see that it's creating a stronger bullish price action, will not be going to sell, because always selling or buying has to be based on the real market interaction, because we don't know that in just the next minute what is going to happen, right? Everything is uncertain. In the next minute you don't know what is going to happen. So if you don't know what will happen on the next minute, then in the next minute when the market will go there, we have to see that how the price action is interacting with that real market levels, with the real market data, and then we can look at, if you see this move here is buying pressure in that zone. So at this level, this is our current key level. The key level, from here the market has moved to the key level with a stronger impulse. If you look at this coming up in just a matter of an hour, also the data, which is the Jobs Job Open as well as ISM Service PMI, could be a key zone that you can look at for entry. So I'm leaving it here at the moment to see that where the market is going. So this is a key level that you can see here. we'll give few more smaller candlestick pattern has formed in this area, and patience is the key to look for the entry. Today is 600 people. Come on. So here in this area that the market is still showing some upside bias, and of that upside bias, this is the 1 hour, and I always keep looking at multiple time frame, because when you look at the multiple time frame, will give you the better understanding of the market context, which is very important to look at as a trader. So with the current move that you can see here in this area, this is the current move followed by this consolidation, and we're looking for another move back above in that area. So that's the current key level that the market is approaching, and off that key level, the price action is potentially to hit that resistance line, and that could be that the price action is hitting. And I think the current gold, if you look at that current gold move that you can see here, is we are looking at for this current interest rate, could be a confluence for gold to be bullish, while we see that on oil here now showing from this resistance a break below here, and that's the daily price action that you can see from here. The price action is heading back below to this support area. Now depending on how things unfold, market will show further directional bias, but at the moment if you look at gold here, it's pumping back to the upside and just broken that resistance line. Okay, so in this area the market is creating that. I think better we stick to our current, because if we take our focus on somewhere else, we might miss the trade, or we might create a wrong trading decision. So better to keep on focus, and that's the key. If you look at the key level, is the market is approaching that key level now, and which may eventually, yeah, we see that the price is slowly breaking that high. Ready for a move, and the market has just penetrated the key level, and with this penetration back above, we are looking forward to see the market structure to have a direction from here. It has shown a very I would say that it's a very unusual move. You can see there was a triangular pattern here, and off the triangular pattern the market has entirely broken above this level, and because there is news coming, if you look at the 1 hour, you can see that it has extended above, and that news spike now could be a zone where this current candle, as soon as closed, there will be news spike. So that is what you want to see, that how the price action does in that zone. Probably the news is 40 minutes will trigger an update move up 4600 before continuing up downtrend. Probably the news in 40 minutes will trigger an upside move. What you could see, as the market, you see, already has broken this very important level, and from here, if it is not coming for the deeper drop before the news, it's going to be very unusual. That means there is a very strong buying pressure, and if a strong buying pressure, then why shouldn't we buy if needed? Let me tell you guys one important point, okay? You see one who is one of the members here says now bull, where is, let me bring that up. Okay, I think Machandra Chan. Okay, that's a very good big name anyway. So remember, in trading, you can't have, you have to change your mind instantly when you need it, because we are trading on 1 minute chart. One of the biggest reason, not one of the biggest, the most biggest reason, the biggest reason, the biggest reason, not one of the biggest reason. Guys, try to understand what I'm saying. The biggest reason that the traders fail over the long term, not one trade could be this way, that way, but if you look at that fails over the long term, is because uncomfortable of being wrong, right? That's the biggest reason why traders fail. Because except in trading, there's no other thing that you have to be wrong that many times. There are, but very few. You see that more often. If you go to the school, have you gone to school? Year 1 or year 2, how do we teach that children? No, you can't make mistake. So that's not only at school, that's also at home. We exactly follow the same process. And that's why there is a, some people say it's a controversial book, but that's a very interesting book. If you look at, there's a book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So he discussed that things in his book, that how actually the very nearer people who are helping the children also unknowingly planting the wrong seeds in the children. And that's a biggest reason why most people fail in their endeavor in life, end up becoming mediocre, which is the biggest fear that I have had all the time. Okay, so it is important that always be okay to be wrong, and that's okay. Okay, and that's why you start to become a good trader. All right, now that it has reached the 0.5 fib level, and for our time frame, I think it will go up to 0.61 fib level for 600 before probably. Yeah, that's a possibility, right? So if you look at that fib level, now the market has reached that fib level, and this is what I was specifically looking at, Fibonacci level. So once the market reach that Fibonacci level, we are very good in our entry, and that's what we are looking at here in this market. Okay, at this level, after this break again, we can see that the bulls, that means the buyers are still buying this market here, and that buy level could remain, and we could see the price action to remain here upside in that area. Here we have to be patient a little bit because there is a news coming, and we see there is a larger candle being created, so it's a pretty stronger volatility here. Let's have a little bit of volume in the music, and then we will be again dropping that to look at new entry opportunity. Patience is key. If you want to make profit, consistent growth, make sure you stay patient. That's the key of becoming a successful trader. Okay, so the market is in a little sideways, which I would say that little is because you see there is a consolidation here, and off that consolidation the trend is still upside here. Now this is where the key level again is from this support here. The hourly candle opened with a doji and the market has reacted back to the upside. Are you going to see this one here to this level, which is possible if the market goes to the daily 10 EMA? Don't you think? Do you think? Let's create a pool here, and if we see that, because with the news coming, what do you see that here there is a 1 hour doji, and one thing that I'm seeing guys here, one very important point that we can look at, see the 1 hour low, they are is very stronger move along this area. And 30 minutes, that if we look at, there is a lot of liquidity trap here as well. So if you look at that, there's a liquidity trap here, and there's liquidity trap here, there's liquidity trap here. So I'm just looking at how many areas there's a liquidity trap. So you see that, why did I put those cycle? Let me see what you guys are thinking. We have also extended above the 4-hour 20 EM as well. So a shift in trend can be possibility. How do you identify liquidity trap in the chart? Okay, so this is what I was looking at here in this area. If you look at that, this is the circle on the 30 minutes, right? These are liquidity trap. Trap means that locked in, right? So see the lower shadow of those candlestick pattern, very small, right? Very small. So on those area, whenever this candlestick pattern open, there is a very strong volume came from the buyers. So for example, as soon as this candle close opened, just surge of order, and then the same thing. So that's a liquidity trapped. That means so much strong buying pressure, the market has gone up, which has not been tested by the seller. So those zone, when the market will come back below, it might just aggressively drop down here. So this circle shows that there is a strong buying pressure here, and therefore if we look at the lower time frame, this is a zone that we might be able to see that entry here in this market. And okay, now it's dropping down to this where we discussed that liquidity trap. This is the zone. After this break of this high, it's coming back below, and at this level we might see that buying pressure again. We are neither buying nor selling yet. Okay, I trade like that. I remain fully open to the possibility, because the market is in an indecision. We'll be waiting for the directional bias. it reached that key level and it's trying to penetrate back to this support area here. From the intraday perspective, I will still be remaining upside here, okay, so far. And if the news, if you look at that news, also what's your bias here in this market? Let me see that here. Drop again 64%, 36% no. So we see that 64% vote on coming down. So we are looking at here for the market to come down back below to the support area and then to give us that entry. So I'm looking at here for a drop. So if the market drop before the data here, we may be able to look for buy. How the market is coming is important to look at. So if you look at this one here, 1 hour, also showing that bullish impulse in that zone, that looking forward to see the market to come down here, grab the liquidity and then to repart again. Now this can act as a signal. We have some few minutes to go for the news to come up. And here, will you be selling here or buying? For me, it's an indecision. If you look at the lower time frame forming a doji, Okay, here the price action slowly trying to push up, and before the news, if we take a short-term move, that's where we can see to take the spike. And with the news, the market might push here back to the upside. The possibility here to spike up is higher with the news. And so I'm preparing for a trade setup here. We might wait for the news or before the news. Let's see that, deleting all those levels to see where the market is standing. We have only 16 minutes for the data to come up. Is this a big news? Yeah, two scheduled news. If you look at two of them coming, ISM service PMI and JOLTS job opening, right? So two high impact news coming, and these two news are important because this week's before NFP, right? And coming up Friday NFP, which is another key important news. So NFP are the biggest, right? And this week, that's why we take the biggest trade that you can see, buying or selling the news. Okay, so I would like to ask this question: will you be buying or selling that news? We will not be buying or selling the news. We will be buying the selling the instrument, right? But in the news. So what's your bias with that? Are you going to buy or sell the news? Sell only? Okay, so one member sell only. Anyone has a different opinion or ideas? Are you gonna be buying or selling? You see, when the market was here, I have sold and the market dropped. But what happened? Instead of it's getting a reversal, we saw that it's bounced back. So now it shows a strong. My bias is buy of all them. Neither. No, that's a good point. Not being either. So yeah, what we could see, the news can spike up further. I'm going to the 4 hour again, and we will be deleting all the levels. Sell on buy. Okay. And therefore, if you look at this is the resistance, and I would like to look at the Fibonacci again from the 4 hour to see where in terms of Fibonacci it's approaching that golden ratio, right? This is the golden ratio. News might take it to the golden ratio and then can have a rejection. So what is the golden ratio? So the Fibonacci is where you would see that the market, this is where the most effective levels that the market usually go for a pullback. But if you see that Fibonacci level aligns with other confluences, it's become a very good area of value. Okay, that this is the goal here in trading, is to find an area of value. That means that what others traders are going to and that's where you can see that the market in this area here with the Fibonacci pullback, right? And your educational videos about Fibonacci and golden ratio are excellent. And here in this zone, this is the level that you can see of this, and from there and the market structure here is that showing. So this is the golden ratio, and from that, with the news, we might see the price to hit that golden ratio. And so that could be a level that we might see the market to have that rejection from that zone. So what is the golden ratio? That I saw some of you was looking at that. Okay, this is probably that's a the famous symbol. Basically, that's the, if you look at the Fibonacci series, okay, it's gonna keep going until the infinity. Okay, so you can't grasp the concept of infinity using the mind tool. And now the market is heading that back above. We have 10 more minutes for the range that I'm waiting for this, because if we open now, we get that spike with the news. We don't want to be stopped out with the news. This spike. Can it not be double top for 4 hours and continue up? Double top and then continue up. Usually from double top, you won't see double bottom that you can consider here. We saw that from double bottom it continues up, and the market can, this move can remain. Okay, so if you look at that, it can remain to that level. With the news, it might goes up, and yeah, it is absolutely possible that this market to remain entirely bullish, okay, until this level. And with the cash rate that you can see with the RVS cash rate that we have seen earlier today, published that, it was actually bullish call for gold, because usually increasing the interest rate or rate hike strengthen the currency. So if AUD is getting stronger in terms of the currency, that will also be bullish for gold. Why? Let's look at, as I mentioned, understanding very important in terms of the different but if we look at some accounts, it's different, but here the more reliable is, I would say, this one. Okay, so if you look at that, China, Russia, and Australia. Okay, these are the three top gold exporting countries, right, in the world. Now, if you look at that, Australia 327 near to Russia, so they're near there, but you can say that all three nearly to the similar range, right? So we don't trade, that USD, CNY. I used to trade before, now this is no. This Russian ruble, I think, not on the now, not listed on the exchange currency pairs now. Used before, it was before 2022 it was listed, and then with the starting with the Ukraine war, it's gone out, and then remaining is Australia, right? So when we trade mostly major currency, right? USD and Euro, GBP, AUD, JPY, CHF. For those who are beginner, maybe CAD with dollar, right? So that's why if you look at the currency correlation, right, you'll see the WTI is mostly related to USD CAD. When WTI going up, CAD more often will go up. It's a related currency. So oil and CAD is tied to each other, and AUD and gold tied to each other more often. So therefore, when AUD USD is rising, gold is rising. So basically, if you are trading XAUUSD, more often you are trading AUD USD, similar kind. Okay, similar kind means like related, not trading, related. Not AUD USD and gold is different, but just the related currency correlation, so that you know that what influences what. So anything that coming on AUD, that means that RBA rate statement, rate policy, everything will have, you see. So more often you say that the day there is you see yesterday's move, that big red drop on gold. So that is also one reason why their gold has dropped. Now we can see that, and which is the RBA policy rate. So whenever you see that there is a policy rate or any important interest rate decision coming on AUD, you can look at gold to have a different price action pattern, and in dollar also same. So they are related. So this drop on gold, that actually looks like that it was a liquidity grab for this move back to the upside, as the market does that. Therefore, at the moment, after this data, in 3 minutes, if we see that gold is creating a stronger momentum, we are looking at possibly even we could look at buy entry here. I don't see double top. Okay, so there, if you want to look at double top, you'll find a lot. Okay, so here if you look at from this level, the market is trying to push back to the upside here. All right, so you have 1 minute, and once we could see the spike small or big, but that's gonna give us that additional confluence here, right? $3.6. Just stop opening here. $6.87. So the forecast was 7, actual 6. This one is more. So basically it's a mix. Now nearly to the, I think that, that draw. But here you can see that there is a bounce, right? And that bounce that we discussed, that the market has shown that, and we can see the market of this support area here could be going here further up. We'll see that we're heading. Okay, now is coming time for us to find an entry. The market has reached that key zone. If we see now a stronger bullish confluence, I'm looking at entry this doji. The news has just been published. There is some mixed data, but how does that also impact the DXY? We can see that of this level DXY here might be, if you look at back-to-back 3-4 hour candlestick pattern DXY, look at the daily here, that the market has, after the doji has shown an upside, the 4 hour here, that you can see also the long wick doji, and I think this move down here, the market has created a very stronger bullish move here on gold. Now it is very important to look at if this market getting the rejection. Now this rejection, if it successfully get rejected, we can see the price coming back here. If not, we can see the market going back to the top. So I'll keep 2 levels here now for the market to either come back here or go back to the daily 10 EM, which is the previous daily high. And if the market doesn't drop, we could see that going here further up to nearly around another 500 pip. So what strategy I will be applying in this situation? I'll be using a pending order. More often I use the market order when I'm very sure, but now I'll be using a pending order because I'm still not being able to see the clear drop or clear rise. As the news has come, now it's come time for us to take a position, right? So if you look at that zone, this is the previous resistance line, and I want to keep a little bit of gap here for the market to be able to break that high. If successfully goes up to this zone here, keeping the stop loss below this low, which we have enough confluence for the market to give us a little bigger room here, 194 pip, and I will be targeting to the daily resistance line, which is at below the 10 EMA. So this is what we will be looking at here on this is gonna be a buy stop order. So if the market successfully goes up, we will be opening buy. If the market comes down, we will be looking revising the pending order again, so that we have enough confluence here. And using the 5 minutes time frame for the confirmation, and I think there is a chance for the market to bounce back up here. So I'm using a buy limit, buy stop, not buy limit, buy stop, buy stop at 4589.54. Stop loss will place at 4570.08, and TP target setting at 4618.64. So this is going to be a buy stop order here. It's a pending order. That means if the market successfully goes, we'll be looking at entry. So place that buy stop order here in that area, and I've opened the trade. I've shared the same trade and waiting for that entry. Come on. So place that buy stop order, and with this buy stop order we were to see the market to show its pattern. So can you let me know if you placed this pending order? The news did not create much volatility. It seems to be neutral for the USD. So market there. Even the news itself didn't create the volatility, but there is a potential volatility after the news, because like you see that we now placed the order, like us, many traders waiting for the news to come up to place their order. So it's slowly in this area here that you can see. This is where there is the market is at this level, creating quite a few long week candlestick pattern, and I'm still looking to see, if you look at the 15 minutes here, the price action from the 4 hour as well, which is very important price action to look at. If the price action breaks below here, it's gonna create a possible downtrend, or we could see that stronger liquidity sweep and then reverse again back. So if this trend breaks, we will be able to see that drop, and if it breaks, it might be a very sharp drop. If it doesn't, we would see the market to straight going back up. Okay, so it didn't reach that level, but we are still on it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we saw there was a significant liquidity trapped below here. If this structure breaks, then I'll not be surprised to see that significant drop again straight back below to the daily support area. And that is why I leave my that entry above. Already, so he's here after break of this support. The market is trying to push here back above, and we see that few narrow price action. This is here showing that so far bearish move, and from the 5 minutes, also showing that there is a bearish move. Just tested the order block. So what kind of price action you can expect here for the market to rise up or to drop? If this trend line entirely breaks below, we will be looking for 4540. To sell, for me, I need this 1 hour candle to close. Before that, it's gonna be a little risky. We can, if the market entirely breaks below. If the price remaining here, it's gonna be risky sell. 4501. Now, if you look at, you see this is an order block, and of that order block, the market is not showing a very, I would say, that impressive bearish move that you can see quite a long we can do. But if it changes the trend, we will see it's gonna be visible. Usually when the market goes up like that, when it changes, it doesn't change like that way it has gone. You could see that one candle drop, okay, like that, 4 hour. So this is the lowest point of this move, right? If this market drops, then from the 4 hour you can expect one candle drop. That's one candle will entirely come back here. So it's gonna very fast. But if the market goes up, also it could happen that very fast. This move here, this is in a critical level now. You can see that gold. This is a critical zone here. So from that, if it breaks above, I would consider that there might be a stronger move back to the upside. If it breaks below, you could see that just once one candle drop. And that one candle could be 30 minutes, could be 1 hour, or at max 4 hour. But here to go there, it took almost 16 to 18 hours. If you look at that, you can see the market is trying to push here back above. Yeah, so that's why you place that buy stop above this level. This is the current resistance line. If it breaks here, you'll see the market will get a trigger here upside. So the buying pressure that you can see here so far. I think there's attack again on. Is there any UAE? News from UAE. It said that UAE air defense system responding to a missile threat. So now keep attacking on UAE now. Air defense system are currently responding to a missile threat. Please. So there is another missile threat on UAE. All right, so the gold is getting now volatile with that on DXY, and what you can see that oil is on a pullback. So I think with the UAE missile threat, oil has spiked again here. Look at the so if you look at the timing of this news 9 minutes ago, and with this news there is a breakout. Now that might be, if you look at oil has on the support level. So basically this is the 4-hour drop on oil to this support, just broken back below, and I think that oil might get that upper side here again, because there is still the Hormuz is not solved, right? Hormuz problem. So that could be that, you know, manifesting on oil. See, if the oil pushing high here, but we can see that gold has bounced now. So we'll see that what kind of price action it form. Now gold has moved again back above, and if it breaks here, we are on the trade. It reached that resistance. It is not unusual to see again to drop back to this support, or if you look at the 30 minutes candle closed here nearly in 1 minute, and that 30 minutes candle close also forming a bullish engulfer. So far this price action here is so far bullish, so that's why we place that buy limit order in that area, buy stop order. We are trade blind spots. Okay, now we place that order here. If you look at this candlestick pattern, this 50 minutes candle closing is pretty bullish candlestick pattern for me, because we saw one green, red, green, so it's a quite a few stronger rejection that you have seen in this market. So that could be the market to remain here potentially in that major direction. See here, there's quite a few false breakout has given this market momentum. So if you look at the market has extended above and then on a pullback. So 30 minutes candle closed and you can see the price action now trying to fill this zone. Going back to the upside can be a good move back up here and see that what is happening. So our pending order in a significantly important area, which I would say that it's a very important area, because if the market breaks that high, which we could see, then we can expect the market to trend in that direction here, and that is possible to happen because you see that when the market coming down, there is a buying pressure coming in the market. So I'm bullish. That means that we are looking at entry back to the upside if the price successfully shows that pattern here. Okay, so you can see here it's slowly trying to push up back above, and this is going to be a significant move in that area to see that where the price action is creating. So off this level, so this is the current market structure, has broken above, and this zone in the past also acted here as a very high area of value, strong liquidity confluence area, and we saw that green red. Now if this market breaks further low here, that I think it could return 4562. Yeah, if it is a failed attempt, that's why I had little upper stop losses, because it happens sometime, it creates a false breakout and then drop again. We'll see that here how it might be that a pullback, because there is a strong drop, strong reaction, and this can be a very important support that we are seeing here in that area. Okay, we might be able to look for an entry here now, and back to back two smaller doji showing that there is bullish pressure, and I'm looking at here a long position that going long, keeping stop loss below this low, and I will be closing the pending order, and instead I will be opening this buy the market for this potential move up. And I would like to take this trade as we see there is a significant rejection from this lower price to this level, so which is gonna be a tighter stop loss. It's a buy by market, 122 people stop loss only. The stop loss here. So we closed the pending order here, and this market looks to me still upside, so I opened a buy position after this false breakout. So if you look at this break below, has gained momentum here, and after this trend, if you look at, this is a channel which is an ascending channel. Of that ascending channel, the market has created that upside bias. So if it fails, then we could see the market to, because there is an order block retest here. See, this is an order block. Let me draw that up, guys. Important to look at. So this is an order block, and of that order block, we saw there was a break below to the order block, bounce back to create a higher high. So which is a bullish signal. That means buy signal. Now if the market is not going to that buy signal, then we are just waiting for that to happen. Ready? So in the meantime, traders, if you haven't liked this stream, make sure you do so, and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done yet, press the notification bell so you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. And I'm bullish on gold, and I'm waiting for this month. This is a very patient trade, and I believe you guys with me. You see that we were waiting for the sell, but the market is, the data shows, and we can see that there is some kind of sideway movement on gold. On oil, the XY shows here the bearish move, so that could manifest as a bullish move on gold. However, the market could go any direction, so I'm fully prepared to take any direction. The goal here is not to win all the trade, but to win the probability. If you can do that, you're always ahead in your trading. If it fails that move back above, it might straight come back here. So in that case, you will not be running the trade and you will be stopped out at this level. So at this point, if you look at the 15 minutes, that you want to see the market is especially remaining above this 4577 can give you a higher possibility that this market to remain here upside in this area. So it just has broken this support here. See that what is happening, how far it's gonna drop, and we can see the market has broken here back below, and have a tight stop loss, and that's why if the market fails, then there's not gonna, if we move a stop loss, even it's not gonna worth running. In the meantime, traders, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do so for all the content that I'm posting, and also you can stay connected also by joining the free Telegram. You can find link below this video. I do also take premium group entry whenever it appears. So Oh. We are almost nearing to 1 hour candle close, and this 1 hour candle close, if it is closing as a long doji, and that's an important candlestick pattern that you want to see that. So if this candle closes here as a narrow doji or doji, that might take that market here back above. So we are in that direction of this trend here now. Getting upside here with a momentum back. So another candle close coming on the 15 minutes, and also it is showing that buying pressure of this 10 exponential moving averages. So back to important price action, and we are just crossing our entry again here in that area, and that's where we are looking at this market to show up that pattern in that zone to see that where the price action is heading here. And I'm back on trading. We are below extended, but look good to see that the market is now just crossing our entry. That's what we are looking at, guys, right? We want to keep that on and on. Nearly there, struggling to bounce back off this level here. So that might be showing that the price action eventually could cross that level, and that might be going here back above to create a new higher high. Crossing that high, and we are also, if we look at that 1 hour price action, has reached and creating a pretty long wick doji here, which is basically showing that the market to potentially remain here upside. And I'm running this trade, and if you guys look at here, that you can see that we are running this trade. This is the 15 minutes price action, and also showing potentially another wave or potential bounce here. And I guess you are excited to see this trade running in profit. I'm just nearing because my entry was a little late, but surely will be on, most likely will be on the profit shortly after. If you look at here, that and so we are at entry now. I will be running this trade, but I'm almost with the live sessions time limit. I'm almost end of the session, but we are at entry, showing that we possibility that we are on the right direction of this trade. This trade will either go stop loss or profit target like the previous one I will be running. And if it successfully close and profit, you will be able to get nearly to 200 pip. And I'm running it. I will be running it. This is the second day of the trading week that we have finished. This is NFP week, and I'm looking forward to again coming on live tomorrow twice. And in that live session, I would like to see you guys again trading live. This trade I'll keep running. If you, in case you didn't manage the risk, then I would say that when it will go to that entry, probably you can manage the risk or manage the trade accordingly. At the moment, I'm waiting for the market to push up, and I'll give an update later today with other currency pairs as well that I will be looking to trade. If you are in the channel, that I would highly encourage you to watch that live update. That being said, thank you very much, and I'll see you again very soon trading live. Until that, stay well, stay happy.